how Amazon treats its employees, which it's become everything to us. We wait for the door, the bell rings, we're expecting an Amazon package all the time. But
Mm,
you draw out or cite some of those authors who have highlighted what the cultural of Amazon actually is and how they've constructed it is not designed for flourishing at all.
mm,
In some respect, it is the epitome of what our cultural values, but at the same time, the ramifications, the collateral damage for the practice that they have had is hidden from our sight.
yeah.
Can you elaborate on what Amazon has created and how it affects it in some respect, how it represents the zeitgeist
Mm,
of our cultural moment now?
hmm Well, this was from a couple of years ago. So just a disclaimer, like maybe Amazon has reformed its ways. I don't know. But essentially,
Highly doubt it.
I don't think
Highly doubt
so.
it.
I mean, and the context for the book is it's the pandemic disclosing, right? That's kind of the language that I use. And Amazon, we all had a very close relationship with Amazon during the pandemic, and in many ways, we benefited from Amazon. We were able to receive things to our home when it was difficult to get out and get things, and that's the paradox. I mean, that's the complication of telling this story, but when I started to think about my own pandemic kind of record as just my Amazon purchases. Like I could tell the pandemic story just by what I was buying on Amazon. And so sort of tell that. And then I dig into Amazon and honestly just learned that it literally has been their stated practice to kind of use up their workers and then dispose of them. They actually have like sort of built into their strategy as a company. Their corporate strategy is like, we never intend to promote within our ranks of like, it's not like there's ladder climbing in Amazon necessarily. I'm sure there's some, but just those people who are on the floor, fulfilling our orders, putting our things into boxes, getting them on the conveyor belts, whatever, all those little things, like they are used up as actual human, like their labor is used up, and then when it is expended, they are expended. So it's not like, oh, you're going to then become a manager and then you're going to become a director and then maybe you could climb the ranks. Like, no, they expect that the average worker, and I don't remember exactly, but I want to say it was like 18 months, 12 to 18 months. They kind of figured this is going to be the length, the length of life of kind of the average Amazon employee. That, and when you kind of project the growth that Amazon expects and the rate at which they will just dispose of American workers, like it is actually staggering. It is staggering. And the way that the employees, like they are just treated like machines. They are rated, they have kind of time on task, time off task, like just all these different ways where their movements are measured and, measured against a certain standard. And it's really troubling. And it's not just Amazon now. I mean, one of the things that I think I put in the book, or maybe I've written about since, because I actually have done a lot of presentations now around productivity, is that you're seeing this across industries now. And I think it was probably last summer that the New York Times ran an article about just how different industries are now using different kinds of productivity measures, including, and I think the one that sticks out to me was the chaplain in, I think it was Minneapolis, who had a point score for like, if you go to a funeral, it's this many points. And if you visit someone who's sick and in the hospital, it's this many points. It was a chaplain. And it's just mind-boggling. But this is sort of where we are right now. And I think it begs the larger question, Travis, because I mean, obviously what you're doing is, and I think you've said a really good thing in my book, is like, it's not about changing the cultural conditions. It's very much about the personal choices, but we grapple with that.
Mm-hmm.
This dynamic of like, you can only make certain choices within the conditions that are given to you. If you're a Jew enslaved in Egypt, you have certain choices that you can make, but you have other choices that are not available to you. And I think that's where we're struggling with as Christians today. It's like, and I think that's why the call is, I would love I want to see more people write in this vein of like, what are the rules now? The rules and the rhythms, rules of life, the monastic rules that we can take up as communities that help us as communities to live differently. Because I don't know, I mean, I look at my husband who works for a Fortune 500 company, and there are just things that are demanded of him that, I mean, he's not in control of. He doesn't work for himself like I do. He doesn't have self-directed, self-guided work. So Amazon is a good example of that. What if you wanted to be, practice? What if you even just wanted to pray the hours and you were an Amazon employee? Like, I don't know how that would work, truthfully.